What's up, guys? It's me, Lumos Theramax, here to cover another honestly weirdo topic, something I never thought I'd actually be covering on this channel, because here we're covering Suicide Squad issue number 10, and it has some very interesting things for the Lanterns within the context of this story, as well as just some other crazy stuff going on in the background that I'm not too attentive towards. But that being said, be sure to like and subscribe down low, and to both me and the Coffee Shop content creators, and let's get to it. So we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of a lot of what's going on in Suicide Squad, but essentially everyone knows the gist of the Suicide Squad. Amanda Waller, this high-end government official, essentially takes in villains and or heroes, puts bombs inside their heads and say, you're going to do whatever the hell I want you to or I kill you. It's pretty straightforward, and of course as they do these missions they get time off their sentences because these guys are like the most ruthless murderers in all of existence. And for whatever means, they're hanging out with the Thanagarians and throwing hands with Thanagarians, and they're super pissed. Obviously, these guys have had an issue with one another, but in the middle of this confrontation, there's this blinding green light that pops off, and as a result of that, a giant green Godzilla-like construct rolls up on them and just immediately begins devouring each and every one of the Suicide Squad members. They're each pretty much helpless to, like, essentially whatever this being is rolling up on them and just thrashing them all. And sure enough, as the last one goes to get eaten, the guy literally just accepts dying. And Joe Moline, the newest Green Lantern, rolls up and says, no one's dying here today, but y'all motherfuckers are going to jail. And there's a really interesting transition you see in the top left corner of this panel where it shows a skull up, and it's some sort of forbidden sector, some sort of forbidden base for the Lanterns, where they're like a jailhouse for the Lanterns where they lock away the most dangerous and wanted criminals there is. And these Suicide Squad members are all trying to figure shit out in terms of how they're going to get out of here, because they've essentially been locked up in science cells. And if you don't know, science cells are essentially what the Green Lanterns use to depower characters so they can't do anything while they're being confined or contained for the length of their sentence. And so a lot of these characters, even Superboy, who happens to be here, along with Major Force and a variety of others, most of them are absolutely helpless. But there's this one person named Kulabra, or at least I believe that's her name, who has some level of astral projection that seems to allow her to get outside of the science cell. Seems kind of wacky. It seems a little bit ridiculous, but hey, whatever. They gotta move the plot on. And he starts wandering through all these cells, seeing all this stuff, and sure enough, the Lanterns got him, boys. He's still around. Black Hand is literally in one of these cells, and he's in these cells surrounded by skeletons, implying anybody who stepped into this cell before has quite literally been killed. Now, this is really interesting stuff, because the last time we saw Black Hand, it was before Rebirth, when Hal Jordan was running around with that power gauntlet on as a renegade, and Black Hand had actually touched the Source Wall in the Godhead story and had been affected by the Source Wall. He had Source climbing up his arms, but he was so powerful he could actually hold off the Source infection or Source Wall infection on him with the power of the Black itself. And he held it off for a while until Hal Jordan, he was running around making entire planets Source Wall. Like, as crazy as that sounds, until Hal Jordan comes up across him. They obviously throw hands really hardcore, and then Hal Jordan throws him onto the Source Wall. So how did he get here? Well, the most likely case, and I think we're seeing a lot of the consequences of Death Metal pop off here, it's that whenever the Source Wall exploded during Death Metal, a lot of the people who were on it may have had the opportunity to escape, Black Hand being one of them. And on top of that, that could also explain why he's in a weakened state and a science cell can hold him. So a lot of speculation there, to be 100% honest, but it's really interesting, and I love the fact that we're seeing Black Hand again and seeing evidence the Lanterns have already caught him. Why is this relevant? Well, because recently Nekron was stated to be one of the most viable threats currently in the current day, even to the new Comp Darkseid. They're all like at the same level of power, trying to ascertain the great darkness above that. So super hyped. Can't wait to see what exactly they got planned for Black Hand. He might be in the Suicide Squad show, but I think there's a lot of confusion that like Amanda Waller is the one controlling him, and that is not the case whatsoever after reading this comic book. The Lanterns got him for now, boys. But hopefully he comes back. Give a like and subscribe down low. If this one hits 50 likes, I'll slap you guys with a real sick black hand scaling video. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let me know what you guys think down low. Be sure to subscribe to me and the Coffee Shop Content Creators, and I'll see you next time, Lanterns.